Hey friends, it's Art by C, and today I'm going to be making over this sketchbook. First, I have some quick announcements. Unfortunately, I did not finish Inktober. I did a few more after the videos I posted, and those are on my Instagram if you're curious to check them out. But I was just on vacation, and I just didn't make it up. So yeah, I don't feel guilty though, because I draw any day regardless, every day, so yeah. Before I begin this customization, I wanted to show you the one I just completed. It is a girl with cherry blossom tree lungs, and there's some sparkles on there. And there's some fun detailing, like the spine is covered in this ribbon. The back has this holographic pink decal, and then there's a string to keep your spot. Oops. And then there's like an if found place with a pattern that I designed in the background, which is kind of cool. A place for your goals, a place for a start and end date, and also information about the book, and then a little envelope for your treasures that also holds my business card. So this will be available in my Etsy. It should be available by the time I post this video. So if you're interested, go check out my Etsy and this sketchbook could be yours. Hey guys, so my first initial idea, which you can tell by the way I'm speaking, did not work. But was to make this nose that was kind of like a waterfall. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I've done a piece like this with a mouth, and I'll insert a picture. But kind of the same idea I wanted to illustrate was that, you know, there was this nose in the woods, and it was kind of a waterfall, and I was like, part of me was like, what if it looks like snot? I don't think it ended up looking like snot, but I wasn't happy with, I don't know, with collage you have to have a very, kind of a straightforward idea to begin with. If you saw this as a painting, realistically, you would know, well, that's a nose and it's in this, so you could interpret with your mind. But with a collage, if you have to already interpret what it is and then interpret kind of, I guess, the meaning or the overall picture, it just gets confusing. So I feel like that's maybe where I went wrong, is I just picked too abstract of an idea to create in a collage, or even the fact that this collage was so small. Maybe if I blew it up bigger, you could tell that it was a nose. But Tim, my boyfriend, said that he thought it was a gnome house. So I was like, yeah, I don't want you to think it's a gnome house. So yeah, that's just kind of why I decided to change the idea. But I do want to do a collage eventually, and I do want to do a painting of this idea because I still think it's a very neat idea. And honestly, I don't think the collage looked too terrible or anything. It's just something I didn't want to continue pursuing. I don't know, I'm kind of one of those artists that sometimes when I have an idea and it's just not going where I want it to, I kind of just shut it down right away, because I know you're supposed to push through things, but it wasn't that clear, I guess. I don't know. So I'm really sick right now, so if I sound like I'm dying, that's why. But I thought it's important to show your failures and your successes. So I'm actually going to scrap this idea just because it's a cool idea, but I don't know how well it will translate as a collage. I think all the elements will just get too confusing because overall it's an idea that's kind of abstract. So while you're looking at it, I don't think you would know what it is right away. Could have pushed it a little further, but just wasn't really feeling it for a collage. I do want to do maybe a collage, and I do want to do this as a future painting, but just not as a collage. So I'm just going to sand it and start with a new surface. Okay, so even though I did sand the surface, it still left kind of an imprint of where the paper was, but I decided that was okay. So I just went over it with a black gesso and drew it in with a white Prismacolor, the design, and began my next idea, which was essentially just a hand holding an eyeball. I took a reference photo of Tim holding this like mini pumpkin that was about the size of an eyeball. And in the picture, it may look a bit weird because the eyeball may look very huge, but it's because of the perspective. And I kind of talk about that at the end. I think I actually show the picture, so you'll see it there. But yeah, so I just began painting, and like I do with most of my paintings, I start with kind of an undercoat just to lay down the colors. And I don't know, it's weird talking about my painting process because it just comes, and I don't know, I don't think about it. But I've worked with some painters that say, oh, you know, I do this layer and then I do the shadows and then this and blah, and I'm like, man, I'm glad I don't have to think about it, like not like trying to brag or anything, but it just, like I said, I just do what I think I need to do, and it kind of works. But basically, to try to explain it, I think I kind of have in a video before, but it's an underpainting, and then I just slowly kind of build up the detail throughout. And of course, watering down my paints a lot. Like I said, I think if you've watched any of my videos where I'm acrylic painting, I've talked about how much I water down my paints when I'm working with them, especially with finer details or just shades and such. Yeah, so why did I choose this idea? I don't know. Honestly, my brain is just weird. I like human anatomy a lot, and I love hands. Obviously, like most of my artwork has hands in it. Normally I incorporate human anatomy and some form of nature, but this was just human anatomy and human anatomy. But I don't know where I got the idea. I know that, like, I think in, is it The Labyrinth or something, a movie, where there's like this creature holding his eyeballs, or maybe it's like a Nickelodeon cartoon. I don't know. I kind of see the image in my mind, but something holding their eyeball. So maybe I got the idea kind of from there. But again, I just like eyeballs. They're pretty cool, and I like hands. This isn't actually modeled after my hand. You can tell the fingers are a bit stubby, and I kind of have more slender fingers. But I actually use, like I said, Tim's hand for the model. And then the eyeball, I just combined some references of Pinterest and kind of, you know, made my own thing. I'm pretty experienced with eyeballs and such, so yeah. I just kind of painted some of it with reference and some of it from my what's the right word, like personal picture memory. I don't know. Yeah, I really like how it looks overall. Even if the perspective looks a bit weird, I think you can interpret it as, you know, just the hands, the fingers being closer. And then I added the highlights, which really made it pop and everything. So yeah, like I said, I'm pretty happy with this design. And now in my best handwriting, I'm just trying to write the started and ended, and also the goals for whoever buys this sketchbook. Okay, so I've pretty much wrapped everything up. I did the cover, and I added the started, ended, goals, and then the sheet that if found please return to, and then this is like an original pattern I made behind it, so I think that's kind of neat. And in the back I added the original sketchbook info, you know, about acid free, the dimensions, the weight of the sheets, how many sheets, everything like that. And I also added an envelope that says treasures, so you can stick business cards or fun little sketches in there. And I also added a bookmark to keep your spot. So now I'm just going to go spray the cover. I'm going to be spraying it with this sealer, clear acrylic sealer in matte, Patricia Nemec's. It's at Walmart. So I'm going to tape off everything that's not this gessoed portion. You can kind of see the part that's not shiny. I'm going to tape off the shiny bits and then just spray the matte bits so that it's reflected, or so that it's protected, not reflected. So I'll be right back. Hey guys, so we're back, and the sealer is all dry. So yeah, this is finished. I will have this listed on my Etsy soon. It'll probably be $45 like the other one, just because of the time and materials that go into it. Yeah, overall I'm pretty happy. I know the perspective looks a bit funny. The original reference photo I took, which I'll try to insert, is I would say pretty true to what this looks like, but it just makes the fingers look so big and the hand look so tiny, but it's because of the perspective. But hopefully you just know that without my explanation. But yeah, I still really like it. And I'm kind of jealous of whoever this sketchbook ends up being, whoever's it ends up being, because I really like it, like I said. Yeah, let me know if you want me to continue with this series of custom sketchbooks and painted sketchbooks and everything like that. Yeah, thanks for watching. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Alright, bye guys.